State Broncos are unbeaten and 5th ranked. Kellen Moore is 46-2 all time. But the TCU Horned Frogs have 21 consecutive conference wins, and they're here to claim what they feel is rightfully theirs. It's finally here, TCU and Boise State. Picture perfect November afternoon here in Boise for the Mountain West Conference most attractive game on the schedule. TCU at 7-2, unbeaten Boise State with 35 consecutive home wins, playing host to the defending conference champs. It's best against best.
TCU, they have obviously tremendous talent, but when you combine that with great coaching, they don't give up anything easy, and they do a great job.
Anytime Boise and TCU got together, it's been a great ball game. It's been a game that anybody should want to watch, and I don't expect it to be any different this time.
It is the game we've all been waiting for, the Mountain West Conference this season. TCU, the defending champions in the Mountain West Conference, playing at Boise State. The Broncos right now undefeated and ranked number 5 in the BCS. Paul Burmeister and Sean King in the booth. Anthony Herron on the field. The Horned Frogs won the toss. They deferred, and Boise State will get the ball first. And away we go. Mitch Burrows out to the 40-yard line, giving Kellen Moore, the nation's all-time leader in wins at quarterback, an excellent start to this game. Paul Burmeister and Sean King in the booth. Anthony Herron on the field. Also on the field, Kellen Moore at 74%, leads the nation in that category. Quality unit up front for Kellen Moore. Nate Potter at left tackle is the stud of that group, and behind him, Doug Martin is out. DJ Harper will start. He went over 100 yards a week ago against UNLV. Doug Martin has a foot injury. He is dressed. We'll wait and see if he does play. Empty backfield now for Kellen Moore. Quick flip out wide. Matt Miller, the freshman. Gain of 5 to bring up 2nd down 5. TCU defense up front, led by Stansley Mapunga, leads this team in tackles for loss and also sacks. In the middle, Tank Carter is the reigning Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year. And in the back end, keep an eye on number 41, Jonathan Anderson, been coming on late. A tackling machine, including 17 against BYU 2 games ago. DJ Harper up the middle.
And Paul, you mentioned no Doug Martin due to a lower leg injury that he suffered last week against UNLV. That's 811 yards and 9 touchdowns. I fully expect Kellen Moore in this offense to utilize this short passing game to supplement some of that production that's lost without Doug Martin being in the lineup.
3rd down and 5 coming up for Boise State on its first possession. Broncos converting exactly 50%. 3rd down situations coming into this game. Quick set and drop, and Tyler Shoemaker, Johnny Fobbs with a big hit. Penalty marker on the play. It's a gain of 8. Will be a 1st down. We shall see why there is a marker on the field. The referee today is Scott Novak.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness on the defense, number 51. Targeting. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
Number 51 is the linebacker Kenny Kane.
And this is going to be very interesting today because TCU has a big secondary that is aggressive and that creates violent contact. Johnny Fobbs to Karen Cuban. I mean, these guys really come up and lay the hat. Kellen Moore is going to try and utilize this short passing game. We'll see if this Boise Whitehouse can hold up under what I think is going to be a very physical afternoon for them.
1st down and 10. Boise State on the move. Kellen Moore back to the air. Forces it inside to Shoemaker. Kenny Kane is there. Falls incomplete. Kellen Moore, incredible numbers across the board, but not so much against these TCU Horned Frogs, Sean.
You know, Gary Patterson and that TCU defense, they do a good job of playing that matchup zone. They employ a 4-2-5, so they have 5 defensive backs on the field at all times. Really gives them advantage in their pass coverage. Only 2 times in the last 36 games. Kellen Moore with 0 touchdown passes. Both of those efforts coming against TCU in bowl games. DJ Harper picking his way through the middle. And Tank Carter is there to wrap him up, gain of 1. DJ Harper is a good running back in his own right, but he's a different running back than Doug Martin. He's more of an elusive, get him on the edges type of back, whereas Doug Martin is one of those guys who can really be physical and run between the tackles. I think that's a huge loss from this Boise State offense today.
I mentioned that Boise State coming into this game converting 50% on third down, already 1 for 1. And Gary Patterson told me the key, get them in 3rd and 6 and more. Well, here's a good situation for their Horned Frogs. 3rd down and 9. Little give inside. Gain of 5. And that is Mitch Burrows, the normal wide receiver, lining up at tailback as Doug Martin again is out with a foot injury.
And Boise is going to get creative. They're going to find a way to supplement that loss of production because Doug Martin is not available. You see they bring their slot receiver Mitch Burrows into the backfield, allow him to run the zone play that time with quarterback Kellen Moore.
Going forward on 4th and 4, 8 out of 15 the Broncos are so far on 4th down conversions. Kellen Moore sliding in the pocket, firing. That's going to be right at the sticks. Complete to his tight end, Kyle Efaw, and that is a first down. Tackle made by Tank Carter. So Boise State gets the ball on its own 40-yard line. Big return, converting a 3rd down right away, getting the penalty, and now converting on 4th down. It's Moore to Efaw.
And Kellen showed a lot of confidence in his tight end, Efaw, right there. And really not a lot of room. Fits that football into a very small window.
Mitch Burrows now split out wide to Kellen Moore's right. He has taken a couple snaps at tailback. Tailback right now is DJ Harper. Moore, look at that time. And look at the one-handed catch from Matt Miller. A lot of twos on that play. 22-yard touchdown to number 2, Matt Miller, but an important number 1, a one-handed catch.
TCU likes to play that matchup defense. You're going to get some one-on-one matchups. Great throw by Kellen Moore. Jason Verrett tries to undercut it. Can't quite get to the football. Touchdown, Boise State.
Dan Goodale on to attempt the extra point. Up and in. And what a strong start for the BCS 5th-ranked Boise State Broncos. 8 plays, 60 yards, and 22 yards from Kellen Moore to Matt Miller. 1 possession, 1 touchdown, and a one-handed grab. We're early in Boise, and the Broncos lead the Horned Frogs by 7. What a first drive for the Boise State Broncos. You see number 2 there, Matt Miller, hauling in a 22-yard touchdown reception from Kellen Moore. And the 5th-ranked Broncos lead 7-0. This is Wayman James going nowhere thanks to that Boise State special teams unit. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line after a gain. I would have been perfectly okay and understanding, Sean, if there would have been some drop-off from Andy Dalton to Casey Pachall. But that drop-off, if there is any, it's been hard to detect.
Very true. He's done a good job, Paul. And the most amazing thing about the young sophomore's performance is he's really done a good job of protecting the football. 19 touchdowns to only 5 interceptions entering today's ball game.
Matthew Tucker, the tailback. Here comes Jamar Taylor on the blitz. He's picked up. Pachall wants to go deep and lays it perfectly to Josh Boyce. Touchdown, TCU.
I mentioned it on the first play of the game when Casey Pachall took the opportunity down the field. Gary Patterson feels like they can get behind this Boise secondary. Great job by Josh Boyce. Runs an out and up. Ebo McKinday tries to make an adjustment. Wonderfully thrown ball by the young quarterback, Casey Pachall. And an offensive line from TCU did a great job. Boise actually brought a corner blitz on that play that they picked up very well.
Ross Evans up and in, and that's a 74-yard touchdown from Casey Pachall to Josh Boyce. And we are all tied at 7. Yeah, when I talked to Gary Patterson earlier this week, he praised that Boise State defense up and down, but said, he was very honest about it. He said, I don't think they're that great at defending the deep pass. We've got speedy receivers. Casey can put it out there, and we're going to take some shots.
And it's all going to come down to pass protection. You know, one thing that Boise has done throughout this year is put tremendous pressure on the opposing quarterback, where you don't have time to let those down the field routes develop. But if you see Casey has a clean pocket, gives Josh Boyce an opportunity to run a double move route. Very good young receiver in Josh Boyce, has struggled with some droughts, but big play by the TCU quarterback to tie the football game at 7-7.
Josh Boyce with his seventh touchdown receiving this year. We're all tied at 7. 74 yards from Casey Pachall. Casey has a touchdown pass. Kellen Moore has a touchdown pass. His 22 yards to the freshman Matt Miller. And we're locked up at 7. This is Mitch Burrows. He's got a seam out across the 30, brought down at the 32-yard line. All tied at 7 here in Boise. DJ Harper on 1st and 10, breaking a tackle and breaking into TCU territory to the 28-yard line. Greg McCoy finally makes the tackle, but DJ Harper has 32 hard-earned yards.
Doug Martin known as a guy who's deceptively fast as a tailback, but DJ Harper, there is no doubt about it. He is lightning in a bottle when he gets the football in his hands. This is the gear that's now back for DJ Harper as a ball carrier after both ACL injuries he suffered throughout his career. It's difficult to imagine whether or not that's going to come back, but when you watch him down here from field level in person, you see this guy has every gear necessary.
And that tackle he broke in the backfield, none other than Tank Carter, the most decorated defender in the Mountain West Conference. The reigning Mountain West Conference Player of the Year and also Rose Bowl defensive MVP. Pretty even so far in total yards. Boise with 114, TCU with 98. The important numbers on the scoreboard. We are all tied at 7. Boise State, TCU heading in to quarter number 2. And it's not been any different this time on a perfect November afternoon for football in Boise. The Horned Frogs and the Broncos all tied at 7. Paul Burmeister, Sean King in the booth, Anthony Herron on the field. Kellen Moore has his Broncos driving. 1st and 10 from the TCU 29. Play action to Harper. Delivers a little bit high, maybe too high to his freshman receiver. Matt Miller falls incomplete. First quarter awfully balanced for the Bronco offense. 8 runs, 8 passes. Kellen Moore 7 for 9. Casey Pachall 5 for 7. Top 2 ranked quarterbacks in the Mountain West Conference. The only game today that features 2 quarterbacks that are ranked in the top 10 nationally. You expect numbers like that, Sean.
Very similar, these two ball clubs. Both play really good defense. Both are aggressive and physical, and both get good quarterback play.
On 2nd and 10, this is Mitch Burrows. That's the football on the ground. TCU believes it has the ball. Moore with the completion to Burrows. Puts it on the turf to Karen Kubik, comes up with it. And the Horned Frogs have the football 1st and 10. Devin Johnson, former walk-on safety, causing that fumble right there.
And that's all hustle, Paul. He was not on the play side, came all the way from the back side of that play, never quit, never gave up, makes a big play for this TCU defense.
Only the 9th turnover of the season for the Boise State offense. Coming into this game, they had 8. First down and 10 from the 22. And Wesley, no gain. And up front, the glue that holds that group together, Kyle Dooley, the former walk-on, making his 37th start here this afternoon. Josh Boyce, just a sophomore, but for the 2nd year in a row, leads the Horned Frogs in receiving yards, a little over 15 yards per reception. Ed Wesley up just across the 25-yard line. Gain of 3. George Iloka with the tackle. Boise State defense, speaking of Tyrone Crawford, leads this team in tackles for loss and also sacks. Only 2 linebackers in the 4-2-5 alignment. Byron Houck second on the team in tackles. First is the safety, the veteran, George Iloka, starting for the 36th time here this afternoon. And Casey Pachall with the pump and going deep once again, and another wide open Horned Frog. True freshman Brandon Carter will score. 75 yards, Casey Pachall to Brandon Carter.
And Paul, this is that old-fashioned 200 jet sluggo. You're going to get a slant and go by Brandon Carter. Great route by the freshman. One of the more highly decorated recruits from last year's recruiting class for Gary Patterson. He mentioned in the meeting he thought that they could consistently get behind this Boise secondary.
Ross Evans up and in. And after trailing 7-0, the passing game. Very good defense, bringing TCU right back. Casey Pachall knew exactly what to do with the turnover forced by his defense. Hit Brandon Carter for a 75-yard score. Casey Pachall has 2 touchdown passes today, and the Horned Frogs have a 7-point lead. Ebo McKinday being worked on the sideline. Victimized moments ago. Casey Pachall, 75 yards to Brandon Carter. Pachall now 6 out of 8. 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 to Carter. 74 yards to Josh Boyce earlier in that 75-yard hookup from Pachall to Carter, the longest play from scrimmage for TCU this season. Burrows dropped at the 23-yard line. Tackle made by Antonio Graves. First down and 10. This is DJ Harper cutting it back. And he is met by Kenny Kane. Gain of 2. And how many programs can lose the top tackler from a year ago, Tanner Brock, out for the season with an injury, and step up with a Kenny Kane? And Kenny Kane is actually a young man that I know personally. My backup quarterback at Tulane, Jeff Curtis, is the assistant head coach at John Curtis Christian down in New Orleans, Louisiana, which is where Kenny Kane attended high school. From Metairie, 4-time state champion in high school. Also a member of the 4x1 state championship track effort in high school as well. Horned Frogs with a blitz. Kellen Moore to Matt Miller to beat it right at the first down marker for a gain of 8. Greg McCoy with the coverage for TCU. This is what you call a now route. Matt Miller's just going to come right now down the line of scrimmage. Great ball location by Kellen Moore. And offensively, I think this is what Boise is going to have to do. They're going to have to utilize that quick, short passing game to supplement not having Doug Martin. The first down line is brought to you by Geico. Just enough for a first there. It's 1st and 10 Broncos. Back to the ground game. DJ Harper across the 40-yard line, approaching another Bronco first down. That's a gain of 9. And McCoy once again with a tackle. And you talk about not having Doug Martin. For DJ Harper, this is an opportunity that he's been waiting for. I'm sure he didn't want to get it because of injury, but he understands what it's like to be the starting tailback. He was the starting tailback here in Boise, suffered a devastating knee injury and never was able to regain that spot from Doug Martin. The torn ACLs ended not only his 2009 season, but also 2010. Setting up the screen to Burrows, and Tate Carter not fooled. Also not blocked. And that's a gain of 2. With as much as TCU moves their defensive front, it makes the job of the linebacker that much more important for him to be able to fit properly. You see Tank Carter, you see Kenny Kane, they both scrape over the top. You're not going to see them really pull the trigger and hit the A-gaps too soon. Nice read here from Carter.
able to just undercut that block and make a one-on-one tackle.
That'll bring up 3rd down and 8. TCU rushes 4. Moore with time, little bit behind his brother Kirby Moore. He says, that's all right, I got you covered. I'll hold it anyway. Gain of 15. Tackle made by Johnny Fobbs.
There's 2 different ways, guys, that you can pressure a quarterback. You can either pressure him physically or you can pressure him mentally. The physical pressure has been inconsistent. The mental pressure is so difficult to apply to Kellen Moore, even for a defense like TCU. Gary Patterson told us in the times he's played Kellen Moore over the years, only one time out of well over 100 snaps that he's faced this quarterback, one time Gary Patterson, one of the greatest defensive minds in college football, has been able to confuse him.
Well, a little confusing now as Moore is lined up as the wide receiver. DJ Harper takes the snap, fighting his way out to the 27-yard line. Harper taking the direct snap. That's a gain of 5. Tackle made by Karen Cuba.
Boise's version of the Wildcat. Again, they're going to continually put pressure on you as a defense to adjust to their personnel groups. Kellen Moore is all the way out here lined up as a receiver. I'm sure no one's worried about him running the takeoff, but what it does do is they've given the ball to Mitch Burrows a couple times. It creates a seam for DJ Harper to get a positive running play.
What's the Sean King School of Quarterbacking tell a quarterback to do when he's split out wide?
Don't move. Mark Sanchez will agree with me. Did you see Mark Sanchez? They split him out. Cornerback tried to take a shot at him, and he flinched.
2nd down 4. Moore stepping up and firing. And you don't see that very often. Tyler Shoemaker was wide open.
And you said it perfectly, Paul.
Kyle Leafaw, the tight end, the intended receiver.
You said it perfectly, Paul. Very rarely does Kellen Moore miss a wide-open wide receiver. Offensive line does a good job of keeping that pocket clean, and this is a throw that Kellen normally makes.
Kyle Leafaw has 10 career touchdown receptions. For a moment there, I'm sure he thought he had 11. Coming right to him. This is the 10th play of the drive right now. 3rd down and 4. See, Kellen Moore wanted to get rid of that ball early. He thought he had some interference on his intended receiver. Just fired it to the ground, and the flag did come in late.
Holding on the defense, number 52. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Anthony, you had that one picked.
Initially, he played it precisely how you teach a defensive lineman to play it. He got upfield, he smelled a rat, he planted that foot and got back downhill, but then he held the tailback once he sniffed out the screen.
And Ross Forrest back in 2008 became just the first walk-on as a true freshman to play under Gary Patterson. Has since become a regular. Making his 5th consecutive start here today. DJ Harper fakes the reverse and finds his way to the end zone.
He who hesitates as a defender is lost. Trying to figure out with all the constant motion pre-snap in the back end for TCU, who's got the football? What pursuit angles do we take? And once you hesitate, DJ Harper has got the quicks to make you pay.
Breaks the tackle at Jason Verrett. Finds his way to the end zone from 17 yards out. Dan Goodale's extra point up and in. Kellen Moore has been solid. DJ Harper has been very good, replacing the starter Doug Martin, who's out with a foot injury, and we are all tied at 14. First run game touchdown we've seen of the afternoon after 2 TD passes from Paul Hall and 1 from Moore. 14s in Boise.
Well, let's take a look at just looking forward to continuing to watch DJ Harper carry the football. This opportunity that he's been waiting on for several years now, battling back from multiple injuries. It's an amazing story to see the return he's been able to make.
Greg McCoy going to bring it out. Penalty marker on the field as McCoy goes down to the 37. Play action. Casey Pachall working the intermediate part of the field, wanted Sky Dawson. J.C. Percy there with the coverage as it falls incomplete.
A time and throw, a throw that you want to throw down the seam. Casey throws it just a little bit behind Sky Dawson. Sky Dawson very scary in that slot. He was last year's Mountain West Conference 60-meter champion. A lot of speed and a lot of athleticism at the skill positions for this TCU offense. I'm interested because they've had some success throwing the football down the field that open up some lanes for their running game.
Second down, 10 now. The lone running back is Ed Wesley. Play action to Wesley, flips it out to Tucker. Well-designed play. Pachall puts it right on Tucker. He puts his head down and picks up 11.
So many dynamic playmakers. Ed Wesley gets the attention of the defense. Matthew Tucker is able to outflank Shea McClellan on that play. First down, TCU.
Matthew Tucker leading this team in carries with 97 coming into the game. First down reception there. It's first down and 10 from the 31. Ed Wesley trying to get around the corner, doesn't quite do so. Gain of 1. J.C. Percy, the linebacker, runs him out of bounds.
And this is a little of what you miss when you have Casey Pachall instead of Andy Dalton at quarterback. Boise's bringing a blitz off that edge. That play has no chance to be successful. Don't necessarily trust a young quarterback to audible out of that as you would with an Andy Dalton.
And the subtle aspect of what gets missed there is that the defense not right now honoring Casey Pachall as a ball carrier. The pursuit immediately going towards the running back.
Nice pocket there, and the touch down the sideline to Wayman James. Caught the football, but he did so out of bounds.
A little wheel route out of the backfield by Wayman James. They got the matchup that they wanted.
Close.
And that's about as close as it can get.
Well, if that play is not reviewed, we'll have third down and 10. Coming up for the TCU offense. Here comes McClellan. He's picked up. Pachall steps up in the pocket. This is Josh Boyce running free. Touchdown, TCU. "69 yards, Casey Pachall to Josh Boyce on 3rd and 10. Casey Pachall now has touchdown passes of 74 and 69 yards to Josh Boyce and 75 to Brandon Carter. Ross Evans just flat shanks that one. Straight pull to the left, and the lead remains at 6 for TCU at 20-14.
And this was a great play call by TCU. They get their best wide out, Joyce Boss, matched up with Boise safety Lee Hightower, and that's a matchup that you love if you're on offense. Casey does a good job of putting air under the football, allowing their most dynamic wide out to catch his second long touchdown of the game. Gives TCU a 20-14 lead with 6:34 to the half.
Casey Pachall with 3 touchdown passes. The Horned Frogs with a 6-point lead. Let's go to the sideline and check in with Anthony Herron.
And this is old goodie that you got from the old playbook. It's called double post. You get Josh Boyce matched up with Lee Hightower, who's filling in for Ebo McKinney, who left the game with an injury. Chris Peterson's going to have to find a schematic change that he likes because they're not capable of matching up on the edges man-to-man with these TCU wide receivers.
Casey Pachall right now putting on a deep passing clinic, 8 for 12, which is very good at 75%. But how about 8 completions for 255 yards already? Mitch Burrows out to the 31-yard line. Kellen Moore gives to DJ Harper. Out to the 34-yard line. He thought he was not down. Do believe he was, and that's a gain of 3. DJ Harper and his success here through a quarter and a half been a real story already. That's Kenny Kane limping off the field for TCU. Starting tailback and the #2 rusher in the Mountain West Conference, Doug Martin, out with a foot injury. And DJ Harper now 11 carries, 82 yards, and 1 touchdown. 3 steps in rhythm. Kellen Moore to Matt Miller. Gain of 8 and a Boise first down. That connection provided the first score of the day, 22 yards out. And that's good for a first down. And
this is a route that Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison got a lot of mileage on. It's called 82 Z dig. That outside receiver pushes up 5 yards and comes straight across.
DJ Harper with an alley. Gets into TCU territory, picks up 9 yards. Tackle finally made by Karen Cuba. Chris Peterson's found something he likes a lot in this running game.
TCU moved their defensive front again, and we talk about the fits from the linebackers. So important. Tank Carter's the guy who he's more the thumper. He picks blocks off of the front, and it's important. We saw Kenny Kane limp off the field a moment ago. Now Chris Gardner in the lineup. He needs to be the guy that flows over the top.
Second down 1. DJ Harper motions himself back into the backfield. Kellen Moore sacked for the second time today. Stanley Mapunga now has 7 sacks. Came into this game as the #2 sacker in the Mountain West Conference.
And this is just a pure speed rush on Charles Leno Jr. Does a good job of getting to Kellen Moore. Good job by TCU in that secondary, taking away Kellen's first and second option, which gave Mapunga time to get to the Boise quarterback.
Guys, I love watching a young pass rusher continue to learn the game. He's getting a better feel for how to set up an offensive tackle. He's exclusively shown speed to Leno Jr. earlier. Now he showed him some power.
3 sacks coming into the game on Kellen Moore. Been sacked twice already. Here comes the blitz. Moore with time. And leaves it a little bit too far in front of Matt Miller. Miller was open.
And that's the second uncharacteristic miss for Kellen Moore. He missed his tight end, Cal Efall, on a touchdown. He has the young receiver, Matt Miller, coming. Offensive line does a good job of creating a clean pocket, just a little too far inside on the throw.
Brad Elkin out to punt. 42-yard average so far this season. And back deep is Ed Wesley for TCU. Ed Wesley not going to get a chance to bring that one back. As TCU leads 20-14, first time Boise State has trailed at halftime all season. We send you now to our New York studios. And what a game it's been so far through 2 quarters. TCU leading unbeaten and 5th ranked in the BCS. Boise State 20-14. The big play passing game working in a big way for the Horned Frogs. Welcome back to Boise, Idaho. Alongside Sean King, I'm Paul Burmeister. And we mentioned already today that this is the only game in the country that features 2 top 10 rated quarterbacks in the country. And right now, Casey Pachall's been the best quarterback on the field.
I would agree. And coming into the ball game, I felt if Casey didn't turn the ball over, if he just managed the game, TCU would have a chance. He may end up being the reason why they win this ball game.
Kellen Moore hasn't been too bad either. 13 out of 18 is not so bad either. On the sidelines is where we find Anthony Herron and Gary Patterson.
Gary, you guys averaged 72 yards per touchdown pass in that first half. How are you able to be so effective with the deep ball?
Well, we've done play action. Sometimes you just get lucky with it, but we thought we could do some movement, stutter and goes, and do some things where we could get them to stop their feet, a couple slant goes, and we were able to do that so far.
On the ground, they were able to be effective with DJ Harper. How do you show up that ground attack?
You got to tackle. We let 3 big runs out because we didn't tackle. We just got to play, and you know when you come to Boise, you got to go take the ball game. So we got 30 minutes to go win a ball game.
Great game so far, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Ball.
Anthony, Coach, thank you very much. And Boise State trailing at halftime doesn't happen very often. In fact, the last time the Broncos were down after quarters 1 and 2, December of '07 against East Carolina.
There's no quitting this Boise team. The one thing I do know, 20 will not be enough for this TCU team to pull the upset today. They're going to have to come out this second half and be just as aggressive as they were in the first half.
We'll see what streaks live there live here in the second half. Boise State 35 consecutive wins at home. TCU 21 consecutive conference wins and 11 consecutive on the road. Greg McCoy from his own 9. Greg McCoy weaving his way out to the 38-yard line. Nice piece of returning by the man who leads the Mountain West Conference in return average at 29.1. Let's check out the Foster's first half stats. And the turnover won by Boise State was a big one. Broncos came into this game with the fewest turnovers in the Mountain West Conference. TCU taking advantage with the touchdown and the missed extra point off that turnover. And the Horned Frogs leading by that 6 at 20-14.
Coming into the game, if you would have told me TCU would have the lead after only rushing for 12 rushing yards, I would not have believed you.
Broncos with a blitz on the first play, causing the fumble. Recovering is Tyrone Crawford. In for the score. First play from scrimmage in the second half, fumble. Tyrone Crawford, 32 yards later, has 6.
And that senior wide receiver, Antone Hicks, he does not make a lot of mistakes. Normally is Mr. Reliable, but a terrible error, terrible way to start the second half for TCU.
Extra point good by Dan Goodale. And just like that, huge play from the Bronco defense. And Boise State leads by 1.
And all this is, Paul, is just a power sweep. They're going to try and run it with the wide receiver. Boise gets penetration. Byron Hope, who's had a couple penalties go against him, causes the fumble. Tyrone Crawford picks it up. Touchdown, Boise State. Just like that, this game changed.
And a good theme continues for Tyrone Crawford and the Boise State Broncos over the last 5 games, outscoring opponents now 72-3 in the third quarter, winning 7-0 in this third quarter. Here's Greg McCoy from 4 yards deep, going to take a knee. And Casey Pachall will come out and try this again from the 20. This time, though, trailing by 1. As he says with a smile. 3rd and 13. Screen pass to Raymond James, breaks a tackle, and that'll be a TCU first down. What a play call. Love the acceleration from James there at the end of that run for a gain of 22.
You mentioned it, Paul. That's a great play call, 3rd and long. Anthony alluded to it. That front has been getting up the field. The best way to negate those defensive linemen from coming up the field is to slip that little slow screen to your tailback right behind him. Good job by TCU.
Raymond James with the 8.5-yard per attempt on the ground coming into this one. That's a huge pass play to set up 1st and 10. Boise State defense in the backfield once again. Chase Baker leading the way. Just a gain of 1.
TCU, that offensive front, Paul, has done a good job of pass protecting, but they have been dominated in the run game. They've been able to get nothing going. They're not getting any movement. They're being out-physical right now up front. I know Gary Patterson has to be disappointed in that.
In that first half, Sean, 13 carries for only 12 yards. Keep in mind it would have been a little bit more. They lost 21 on that recovered fumble, but still, your point is right on. Boise State defense shutting down this run game so far. Fakes to Wesley, keeps it himself. Fumble! And Wesley comes back up with it in a roundabout kind of way. Got the third player to have his hands on the football in that play.
And this is just bad ball security. Casey Pachall has to know, as a quarterback, when you get up and things are tight, you have to make sure you secure that football. Good job by Ed Wesley of paying attention and regaining possession for the TCU Horned Frogs. And
Tyrone Crawford, just moments after scoring the 32-yard touchdown on the fumble recovery, causes that fumble. TCU recovers and now facing 3rd down and 8. 4 out of 6 converting 3rd down in the first half. Pachall to Boyce, incomplete. And that's the point of the field there where the shadow meets the daylight. It looks like maybe he didn't pick that up till it got right to him.
Looks like he lost sight of the football because he's open and Casey makes a good throw. Actually fits the ball in a tight window. Very accurate throw. It's actually deflected by the Boise defender, and that's what caused the confusion for Josh Boyce.
Hanson Kelton on to punt. Chris Potter back deep to receive. From his own 24. Chris Potter. He is struck by Greg Burks. Big special teams hit. Bronco offense. On offense for the very first time in the second half. The defense already scored a touchdown. We'll see if Kellen Moore can do the same with Boise State leading by 1. In the meantime, we've got a great one here in Boise. TCU led 20-14 at halftime. Very first play, Tyrone Crawford recovers a fumble, runs it back for a touchdown. Boise State leads 21-20. Kellen Moore with his first opportunity here in the second half. DJ Harper motions out of the backfield. Horned Frogs bring 6. Matt Miller. Kellen Moore saw the blitz off the back foot. Little flick to Miller, 7-yard gain. And as Gary Patterson told us, the 2 previous games against Kellen Moore, 120 plays. I fooled him once. Didn't look anywhere near full there as they brought 2 extra rushers.
He saw the blitz was. He redirected the pass protection. Understood that Matt Miller will be open, coming on the little underneath route with the pick. Good job by the Boise quarterback.
DJ Harper. Close to a first down. Gain of 2. Tackle made by Kenny Kane and also Tank Carter. I had Tank Carter described to me in a pretty interesting way a little earlier this season, Sean. Someone who watches film for a living said, you know, he's not a great athlete, but he's so instinctive on film, he looks athletic.
He does, and he does a good job of finding the football. They talk about in this cliche, linebackers having a nose for the ball. He fits that bill.
3rd down and 1. DJ Harper gets that one and then some. Into Horned Frog territory, gain of 14, a tackle made by Greg McCoy.
Gary Patterson talked about Anthony Herron right after the half and said missed tackles. Johnny Fobbs, the safeties in the hole, has a chance to make the play. DJ Harper is doing an outstanding job today of not being brought down on first contact. All of his big runs are because he's been able to get away from the first and initial TCU defender.
DJ Harper going nowhere. DJ Yendry from his defensive lineman spot. Out there with the tackle, and that's no gain. Kellen Moore firing downfield. Geraldo Boldevine had to slow himself down a bit, but he was so wide open it didn't matter. Kellen Moore, Geraldo Boldevine, 27 yards.
And Kellen had his choice. There were 2 Boise wide receivers in the vicinity, and they were both open. Geraldo Boldevine is a guy that's a different body type than all the rest of these wide receivers. They've really been waiting for him to develop and become a significant part of this offense. We may be seeing that today.
1st down and goal. DJ Harper, the tailback behind Moore. Harper with the ball. And Harper with a touchdown. DJ Harper has 2 touchdowns today, and the Broncos now have a 7-point lead.
And Paul, that's just old-fashioned, hard-nosed football. That's the power play. That's lining up. That's saying our guys are tougher. They're better than your guys. DJ Harper is having an outstanding performance as he fills in for Boise's normal starting running back, Doug Martin. You see, this is downhill football at its best.
Kellen Moore, 5 out of 6 on the drive. A drive that ends with a DJ Harper touchdown. It's 28-20. Boise State faithful reason to be fired up. DJ Harper with a touchdown run. Extra point makes it 28-20. But at halftime, it was 20-14 TCU. Defensive touchdown, rushing touchdown, and Boise State back in control.
And Paul, that's what good teams do. Good teams play 4 quarters. If you want to pull the upset, if you want to be the first team in a long time to get a win here in Boise, you're going to have to earn it. Great halftime adjustments by Chris Peterson. This looks like a different ball club than we saw in the first half.
Sky Dawson back deep to receive. Dawson from his own 5. 2 penalty markers down. Casey Pachall, 307 yards passing already. Look at that pocket. Stepping in, and Josh Boyce. Wayman James, number 32. Well, at least he caught it, Sean. Gain of 36.
And tremendous job by the TCU offensive line. If you're going to see, this is as clean as it gets. This is almost like routes on air. Very disappointed, actually, in Casey on this throw. If he makes that an easier throw, that's a touchdown for Wayman James.
Casey Pachall said, Wayman James against linebacker Byron Howard will take that every single time. Wayman James now back to the running game, picks up 3 yards.
And this is the dilemma Boise has defensively. Chris Peterson would like to bring more pressure, would like to play a lot more man-to-man, but they're down corners. They can't match up. So the opposite is only rush 3, but now Casey has a lot of time to sit back and really find the open wide receiver.
TCU offensive line doing a nice job of keeping Casey Pachall upright, giving him plenty of time to find those open receivers.
And Billy Wynn has reported into the game, guys. He's got the left 3 technique over the right guard.
James stays in the block, and Pachall fires a strike. Brandon Carter, the freshman wide receiver, for a gain of 16.
This was a very impressive throw by the sophomore quarterback. We mentioned earlier that he has poise. He's a big quarterback. Watch him stand right there in the pocket. He knows that that's a tight window, but that's a big-time throw from this young quarterback. In a pressure-packed situation, you come out, they get a defensive touchdown, they drive right down the field. Pretty impressive drive right now by TCU.
And that was with anticipation, with velocity, fitting it between 2 linebackers and right in front of the safety. Leads the first down and 10 from the 18. The Horned Frogs trying to come back after leading 20-14 at halftime. This is Matthew Tucker trying to cut it back. Cedric Fabus, the safety, stops him for a gain of 1.
And I understand that running the football is a mindset, but I'm going to repeat again, Paul. They have no chance when they go to their regular personnel. And Boise has 9 people in the box. They're outnumbered. They have to get out of those running plays or either spread Boise out if they want to run the football.
9 people in the box. I wonder, Casey Pachall playing well, but just a sophomore, if he has enough trust to get the green light to check out of that into a pass down the sideline. 2nd down 9. Linebacker blitz. Pachall rolling to his right and firing to Luke Shivers, the fullback. Horned Frog first down.
Luke Shivers is a converted linebacker, came to TCU on the defensive side of the ball. They asked him to move the football, move to fullback. He doesn't get it a lot, but when he gets it, he does things with it. 12 touchdowns on only 28 career receptions.
And Brandon Carter also open, wide open. He said, I already have one touchdown today. I could have had an easy second. Raymond James and Matthew Tucker in the backfield. This is Raymond James to the 2-yard line. Tackle made by Cedric Favis. That's a gain of 3.
And Paul, that wasn't a tackle. That was a hit. The Boise safety came up and delivered the hammer. And I'm very surprised that they decided to run between the tackles because TCU has not had any success. You see, Wayman thinks he's there. Good hit by the safety, Cedric Favis.
Luke Shivers in at fullback, and he has Mr. Touchdown inside the 5-yard line. Couple that with the fact that Casey Pachall's had a lot of success rolling out to his right and left throwing the football. And don't forget about number 48. Off his back foot. Josh Boyce, did he catch it? Yes, he did.
We've talked about the location of the passes from Kellen Moore, but how about this? Falling back. Casey Pachall off his back foot with a defender over the top, throwing the ball down into the dirt. And his receiver, Josh Boyce, going down and getting it.
And Josh Boyce proving today he could score all kinds of touchdowns. 74 yards, 69 yards, and then 2 yards without a helmet. And we proceed with the 2-point attempt.
I just think it's too early in the game to be trying to go for 2. It's the 3rd quarter. I just kicked the extra point.
Casey Pachall can keep it himself, but can he get there? Just barely. Casey Pachall in for 2. That could potentially be worth a second look there, Sean.
It's very close, but good job by Casey Pachall of understanding where that goal line was and reaching the football out. I still disagree with the call.
And I was standing right behind Ross Evans, Sean. He was ready. A little Horned Frog kicker. He wanted to get on the field.
2:01 left in the 3rd quarter. I would imagine someone on the other line there telling Casey Pachall, you are playing awfully well. Keep it up. 2:01 left in the 3rd quarter. Casey right now 17 out of 25, 372 yards and 4 touchdowns passing, 3 to Josh Boyce. Mitch Burrows out to the 27-yard line. Late flag comes raining into the 40-yard line. Here's more of the run game. DJ Harper. Good tackle by Karen Cuba from the safety spot. Gain of 5. One note on Kellen Moore. 19 out of 25. 186 yards. He's in 7th place all time for career passing yards, just past Colt McCoy.
If you see these Boise big guys, you see them, they're finishing their blocks. They've got these TCU defensive linemen 4 or 5 yards down the field. They're really dominating the line of scrimmage.
Saw right there why Karen Cuba leads this team in tackles. Good job in the open field against the hot running back. Here's Matt Miller once again. Tank Carter lets him get by. David Johnson, defensive lineman there. And that's a gain of 3. 3rd quarter going to come to a close here with that play. And I like quarters 1, 2, and 3 there, Sean. Here's to hope that the 4th quarter lives up to what we saw in 1, 2, and 3. We are all tied at 28 as TCU and Boise State battle for the right to be called best in the Mountain West. The 4th quarter is moments away. And this is unusual territory for Boise State head coach Chris Peterson heading into the 4th quarter, tied at 28. Boise State 35 consecutive victories at home. What a game we have going into the 4th quarter, all tied at 28.
And this 4th quarter has got to be Kellen Moore time.
Kellen smiling there before the first play of the 4th quarter. Here comes the blitz. Going back across his body, late flag in. Maybe a little two-sided coverage provided by Greg McCoy, number 7.
Holding on the defense, number 7. 10-yard penalty. 4th down.
Bit of a dangerous pass thrown back across your body, but all works out when you get the flag going your way, and it'll be first down once again.
And Greg McCoy struggled a bit at times this season, the DB from TCU, but I believe he's overall played pretty well today. He's been in position, but you're facing a quarterback who Kellen Moore, who can put the ball in spots where it doesn't matter where the coverage is.
I would say so. 48 starts, never had a game where he completed less than 50% of his passes. Play action here. Nice pocket to step into. And Dallas Burrows with a step and the 6.
I mentioned it earlier, Paul. I told you those TCU safeties were getting really involved in the first down running game of Boise State. That play action pass was coming. Anthony just talked about how Greg McCoy has improved defending the deep ball. Didn't do a good job that time. Lost track of the football and of the wide receiver.
Dan Goodale on to make it a 7-point Boise State lead. And the Broncos lead 35-28. Kellen Moore says to Casey Pachall, "You're not the only quarterback who can strike from long range." Good pocket and the launch. Anthony just pointed out he can put it right where he wants to put it. How about between the 8 and the 1 for a huge Boise State touchdown? The Broncos by 7. Earlier this season, Robert Griffin went 21 out of 27 against this TCU defense. Kellen Moore now 21 out of 27 to go along with 2 touchdowns, and his Broncos lead by 7. Now we get to watch Casey Pachall and the TCU offense play from behind. Wayman James just across the 30-yard line. Casey Pachall been very good so far today, over 300 yards. Looking for the run game to help. This is Ed Wesley. Nothing going up the middle. Bounces it out to the left side and picks up 9 yards. Tackle made by George Iloka. TCU run game struggling so far. 23 carries for only 25 total yards. Wesley just enough for a first down. Ball's out. And Logan Brock recovered. It is ruled down, though, prior to the ball coming out.
Ed Wesley's taken a few hits in his day, but not sure if he was quite ready for the impact that he felt on that one. Ball's been on the ground several times here in the second half. Some of the big playmakers penetrating into the backfield and some of the more aggressive play calls that have come from this Boise State defensive coaching staff. All those guys in orange jerseys rattling to the football, swarming to the man with that Wilson in his hand.
Boise State comes with a blitz. Off his back foot, Casey Pachall fires to Brandon Carter, incomplete. To bring up second down 10.
Pete Kwiatkowski called that corner cat that he got burned on earlier. He went back to it. This time, TCU did not do a good job of preventing the penetration. Casey didn't have a comfortable pocket, had to leave the pocket, couldn't get enough on the throw to make an accurate pass to Brandon Carter.
And I asked TCU quarterback coach Justin Fuente earlier this week to compare Andy Dalton to Casey Pachall. Said Andy was much more pragmatic. Casey more of a natural passer. Don't trust him enough yet, or as much as I trusted Andy Dalton, but off to a heck of a start earning that trust. Casey firing to Antoine Hicks. You put it on your receiver that far downfield on his numbers, people start to trust you.
And this is a very impressive throw. Shea McClellan hits Casey just as he releases the football. But that's as good as you can throw that inside seam route to that wide receiver.
25-yard gain. Pachall to Hicks. Back to the running game. And again, the Boise State defense there to stop it. Gain of 2.
I'll tell you what, guys, this is as good as advertised down here at field level. You referenced Shea McClellan on that last snap. Beats 2 people. Running back tried to chip him. A young quarterback like Pachall standing in the pocket, delivering the football. Coverage from young safeties here from Boise in the game.
Faking the option, popping back up, wants to fire, does so to Ed Wesley. Intercepted. Lee Hightower. Came down the line of scrimmage, popped back up, way underthrown, Lee Hightower there.
And you get upset with quarterbacks for different things. Sometimes it's a decision, not in this case. It was a throw. We actually had Ed Wesley. That's a football. You have to put air on, throw to that back pylon.
Boise State defense already scored in the second half, now producing an interception. The Broncos lead by 7. Boise State back to the run game. DJ Harper fighting to get his way back to the line of scrimmage. Loss of 1, tackle made by Ross Forrest. Pachall ought to have confidence in spite of that last interception. 397 yards today, 4 touchdowns.
And he'll learn off of that. That's one of those throws you rep it in practice and you throw it a certain way because you get a coverage. You have to be able to adjust on game day if it's a different look.
Second down, 11 now. DJ Harper, the lone running back. And the only man with the ball. Doesn't get to the 15. Ross Forrest there. Johnny Fobbs there. Gain of 5.
It's a little counter play. They bring the tight end all the way to the backside. He kicks out the safety. Good positive running play for Boise. Also, more importantly, we're in the 4th quarter. It keeps that clock running.
DJ Harper, 119 total yards, running strong with those 63 yards after contacts. This is 3rd down and 6. Moore bouncing with time and firing a strike. Tyler Shoemaker opening up there across the middle, 25-yard gain. If you hang on to the ball this long in practice, Sean, you get yelled at.
But again, I just like the anticipation. You see him throw the football, the wide receivers coming across his body. You know, some NFL team is going to fall in love with Kellen Moore. Physically, he may not be what you're looking for ideally, but he makes plays, he wins football game. I would love to have him on my football team.
And here's DJ Harper, and that's the TCU defense. Tate Carter there first. Stanley Mapunga also in for a loss of 1.
And that's what you call a run dog right there. Very rarely do TCU linebackers shoot the gap. Tate Carter's going to shoot the gap and get him a tackle for a loss. Generally, their linebackers are like to scrape and make plays down the line of scrimmage.
Tate Carter struggled at different points early in the season, coming back from a couple of shoulder injuries. Broke his hand at one point just before midseason. Ray Patterson feels like he's just starting to physically round back into form and return to being the player we know.
Second down, 12. Frogs bring 4. Time for more. Fires complete to Chris Potter. Gain of 6. Tackle made by Jason Verrett. 3rd down and 6 here, Sean. You got the lead. You got a hot back. You're going running game. You're going to let Kellen throw.
You have a Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback. And I don't think Chris Peterson thinks that this game is over by any stretch. You put the ball in the hands of 11. You trust that he's going to make a good decision, and hopefully you pick up the first down in the process.
Bigger question is how you defend him. Do you bring additional pressure on Kellen Moore?
Yes, they do. That 5th defender is Tate Carter, and that is a wide open Kyle Leafall. Kellen Moore recognizes the blitz and a wide-open tight end for a gain of 15.
And it's really the subtle things that go unnoticed. I want you to see, watch how he gets depth. He understands that they have one more that they can block, but he also understands that he'll have his tight end if he can buy enough time wide open in the flat. Like the way he manages a football game is just unbelievable for a college quarterback.
And Kyle Leafall made a play in a game situation very similar to that when these two teams met in the Fiesta Bowl. It was a fake punt in that situation, but late in the game as they were trying to ice it, Kyle Leafoff, who ended up being the Fiesta Bowl MVP, made a 29-yard reception.
Back to the ground game, and here's DJ Harper. And that was Johnny Fobbs coming up to make a big hit after Karen Cuba already had him cradled, and that's a gain of 3.
This is a TCU team that's full of athletes, is playing very good, and Boise's doing this without their leading rusher and Doug Martin and their best defensive lineman in Billy Wynn.
Khalifa in short motion. Give off the right side to Drew Wright. The third-string tailback for 8 yards.
Like a lot of teams like to say, next man up. No Doug Martin. DJ Harper takes a tough shot. Doesn't matter. We put our third-string guy in there, Drew Wright, and get the same results.
Mr. Fourth quarter, all but 2 of his 36 carries coming into this one. And now it's 35 out of 37 coming in the fourth quarter. Hasn't been tackled for a loss all season.
Walk-on tailback. Drew Wright still hasn't earned a scholarship yet on this football team. Finally getting his opportunity. They call him the closer here in Boise.
Here comes the TCU blitz, and here's more Drew Wright. Skipping his way down to the 34-yard line. Tackle made by the All-American Tank Carter after a gain of 4.
And this is very impressive, Paul. This is what you call the 4-minute drill. And very few teams can do this where you line up, you say we're going to run the football, play power football, eat up the rest of the clock.
These fans fired up and, as always, expecting victory. It's been a hard-fought game so far and 2:32 left. The Broncos now inside of TCU territory, facing 2nd down and 6. Drew Wright again. Football's out. Horned Frogs have it. Ross Forrest falls on the Drew Wright fumble. Drew Wright in for the banged-up DJ Harper and puts the ball on the ground.
And Drew just has to understand, I know he has not been a part of what they've done offensively. Did not expect to have to play in a game this magnitude, but in this situation, at this point in the game, ball security is more important than anything else.
Excellent hit right on the football from Jonathan Anderson coming up from that weak safety position. He's been a playmaker as a freshman in the lineup in recent weeks.
Casey Pachall, 4 touchdown passes and 1 interception. 2 minutes, 26 seconds remaining, trailing by 7. Fires that one away. Bring up 2nd down 10. Pachall now 19 out of 31 for 400 yards to go along with the 4 TDs and 1 pick.
Couldn't have asked any more out of this pass protection on that snap. He moved the pocket ever so slightly afterwards after the protection started to break down, but great coverage in the secondary from Boise.
Broncos only with 3 down linemen. Pachall flicks it out to Brandon Carter. Byron Hout there to knock him back. Gain of 3.
Tough to execute that tunnel screen when you don't have defenders working towards the backfield. They're all laying back right now. 8 people in coverage for Boise.
3rd down and 6. Pachall stepping in and firing complete. Antoine Hicks, gain of 14.
Great throw, great play call. They ran return routes underneath. They got the coverage. You see Brian Holden sneaking up with that return route. He gets the dig behind him. Think about the significance of this drive for this sophomore quarterback. You're on the road against a top 5 team that hadn't lost at home since the 1800s.
Pachall firing to Sky Dawson, pivoting and getting out of bounds. Lee Hightower missed the tackle, and that's a gain of 9.
We've all been in these late game situations, guys, and for some reason that first down of a 2-minute drive always seems to be the toughest one, and then the offense gets in a bit of rhythm.
Think back to what we saw from Casey Pachall a couple months ago, Sean, against Air Force. Completed his first 11 passes. Kind of gave us a feeling that he was going to be a player in this conference. And how his teammates would look at him differently if he could pull this off. 1:28 left, trailing by 7. Working the underneath stuff again and again, a completion. Jonathan Jones, not only with the catch, broken tackles and the sprint down the left side for 21.
And that's a big catch by Jonathan Jones. His dad, Paul Jones, was a 3-year letterman at defensive U for TCU. So I know if he's back home in Dallas, they're very proud of his son.
Jonathan coming into this game with only 6 catches for 41 yards. So that by far the biggest play of his season. 1:19 left.
Casey has to be careful. Boise is going to bring some pressure. Don't make a mistake.
There's the pressure. Pachall flushed out and just gets rid of it.
Good job by the young quarterback in that situation. Understand where you're at. It's 1st and 10. They brought more than we can block. Don't make a bad decision and force a ball into coverage and have a turnover occur.
Pachall also taking advantage of the much more liberal rules this year for the quarterbacks to just throw it away. As long as it's in the general vicinity of a receiver, that's okay. 2nd down 10.
Now, if I was TCU, I would not be afraid to sneak a draw in to Wayman James. Boise's playing really soft.
Casey Pachall now 23 out of 36, 448 yards. The double pump. Brandon Carter is open. Touchdown, Horned Frogs.
Ball to the wide receiver, Brandon Carter, 25-yard touchdown.
Impressive drive by the sophomore quarterback, Casey Pachall. And this is a big-time get for TCU. Brandon Carter was a 4-star recruit. They out-recruited Texas, Oklahoma, all the Big 12 schools to get him here, and that shows you why. Very talented young man.
Wow, what a move. Trailing by 1. Ross Evans just flat pulled one earlier and missed an extra point. So here they are going for 2 and a 1-point lead. Rolling out and firing. Josh Boyce with the catch and the 2. TCU leads by 1. You talk about strong hands and a clutch play. Josh Boyce showing us both.
And you're absolutely right, because Casey's a little bit late with this football. If you can see, you can tell by the look on his face that that one was very close. But Josh Boyce, you mentioned it, strong hands, takes the football away. Boise cornerback Quaylen Ewan Burton had an opportunity to make the play, didn't. But if I was TCU, I wouldn't celebrate too much yet. You have a young man at quarterback for Boise who's going to be invited to the Heisman. Minute 5, is that enough time for Kellen to get his team in position to win this game?
And guys, let me play dime-store psychologist for a second here, because I don't believe Gary Patterson wouldn't have faith in Ross Evans at this point. His kicker is the leading point getter in Mountain West Conference history. I believe he thought Ross Evans could hit that extra point, even though he missed the early one in the ball game. I think that's about being on the road against the number 5 team in the country, wanting to close the show right now.
Kellen Moore and the Bronco offense going to get a head start on this. 1st and 10 from the 40. With time. Penalty flag is in as Moore was looking to hook up with Matt Miller. Jason Verrett with the coverage.
The pass was thrown holding on a defense number 2. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Jason Verrett there trying to keep up with Matt Miller. A little bit extra handle toward the end.
Instead of trusting his technique, Jason Verrett guessed early, and it ended up costing him.
Kellen Moore. A little bit of miscommunication or not being on the same page with Tyler Shoemaker. Left it way behind him.
Kellen Moore's watching the defensive backs, the linebackers from TCU. They are squatting on everything right now, just as they did on the previous series where Boise had the football. So whether it's Greg McCoy or anyone else, they're going to have to, as you said, Sean, trust their technique, get in that back pedal, and not let anything behind you at this point.
Dan Goodale just 2 out of 3.
And this is where Stanley Mapunga, TCU's best defensive end, he needs to show up. You know they're throwing the football. Find a way to get some pressure on Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore let that one go way before Matt Miller came out of his break. Also threw it way over his head.
Went away from the one-on-one pass rush, decided to finally come with a twist game. Looping around, Kellen Moore not able to step into that pass. Had to get rid of the football earlier than he wanted to.
3rd down and 10 now. 50 seconds remaining. 5 out of 11 Boise State today on 3rd down. Broncos also have 2 timeouts remaining. TCU rushes 4. Moore with time. And again overshoots his receiver. Was looking for Chris Potter. And it's going to be 4th and 10.
An uneasy tension here down at field level around Broncos Stadium. All the folks here wearing orange and blue. The hopes and dreams of this season.
Kellen Moore wanted the interference. That was just good coverage by Greg McCoy. 4th down and 10. Broncos need to get to the 40-yard line to keep this drive alive and to keep their hopes alive as well. TCU rushes 4. Kellen Moore dodging defenders and firing incomplete. Red flag is in. Penalty marker on the 28.
Pass interference on the defense number 2. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Saw Gary Patterson there wondering if that was a catchable football. The call is pass interference. Jason Verrett on 4th and 10.
And the rush came again. Another twist stunt from TCU.
Great job by Kellen Moore of ducking under the rusher. Extending the play. Oh, I don't know about that one.
Hold on number 7, Greg McCoy.
You hate to see a football game end with a controversial play, but that was not pass interference.
Boise State 35 consecutive wins at home, trailing by 1. And on the move, Tyler Shoemaker spinning right to the 1st down marker. Gain of 10.
And if you're Chris Peterson, if you're forced to kick a field goal, what's your comfort level? What's your range? Where do you feel you need to get it to be comfortable that your kicker can make this field goal?
Dan Goodale. Long of 32. Boise State has not been in this situation this year with him warming up on the sidelines, thinking about a game-winning kick. All of their victories coming by double digits.
And we all remember the storyline from last season against Nevada, Kyle Broxman, and how their one loss from 2010 played out.
The quick flip outside. Matt Miller to the 20.
And even more importantly, Paul, do you want to try and center this football up at some point so that the kicker can kick from in the middle of the field?
Boise State now has 1 timeout remaining. This drive stayed alive because on 4th and 10, Horned Frogs called for pass interference. Greg McCoy, number 7, with his hands on Matt Miller. Ball thrown over the head of Matt Miller, but the penalty flag came in.
And not to be overly critical of the referee, but in that situation, if you aren't sure, I don't like that he throws that flag. Wasn't a lot of contact there. Didn't look like Greg McCoy was holding Matt Miller.
And as big a question as any on that play is, was the football even catchable?
Kellen Moore now just working to get the ball into the middle of the field. Loss of 1. And there's the man of the hour, Dan Goodale.
And if you're Chris Peterson, it's a different kicker, but you have to be nervous. Last time you were in a game of this magnitude was last year against Nevada, and it was a missed field goal that actually cost you the victory.
Ball's going to be placed on the 22-yard line. This is from 38. He's good from 31 and 32 so far this year. We call it 39 yards. Dan Goodale pushed it. Pushed to the right. And TCU wins 36-35. 35 consecutive wins at home for Boise State. In the rearview mirror, the Horned Frogs come up with the win. The TCU Horned Frogs have 2 losses this season, but no losses in the Mountain West Conference. TCU sitting atop the Mountain West after coming to Boise and knocking off the Broncos 36-35. TCU now 22 consecutive Mountain West Conference wins. Let's go down to Anthony Herron.
And TCU coach Gary Patterson sharing a moment right now with Kellen Moore. Of course, one of the great quarterbacks that Gary Patterson has ever faced. And coach,
I don't want to ever face him again.
And you won't have to, coach. Describe the emotions after this dramatic win.
I'll be honest with you, I can't even feel it. I don't know, because it just happened so fast. I mean, in the right, I feel good for TCU. I feel badly for Boise because of all the things they did and where they were at. You know, we took a chance in the 2-point play. I told them we started the drive, get their 2-point play ready, because we weren't going to be able to go over overtime and beat these guys.
And talk me through that a little more. Talk strategy with me, coach, because you've got the leading scorer in Mountain West history as your kicker. Going for 2, there's a gutsy call.
No, we're going to do it. This fans, nobody beats Boise in Boise. If we're going to beat them, we're going to have to do it differently.
Talk to me about your football team. What does this say about the youth you've had in the lineup throughout the season and where you're at now at this point?
Well, I don't know. Right now, I'm so proud of them because we came to a situation where nobody gave us a chance. Big underdog. Very good football team in Boise. Let me just say this. When I think about Chris Peterson and his team and the people here in Boise, I can't even tell you. But what I can say about my football team, I can tell you this. You know, we've been looking for one of these things, one of these ball games to see if we could get back into it and get back the same swagger we had a year ago. We went to Utah last year. We've gone to BYU. We've gone to Clemson. And now they've gone to Boise.
You mentioned the confidence, the swagger. Your quarterback, Pachall, only a sophomore. He's got the weird haircut going, coach, but that kid's got some swagger.
Yeah, well, maybe he should have cut it a long time ago. You know, it's, you know, not just him. There's a bunch of them. I mean, I can't tell you all the guys on this team of what they thought. They never gave up. They never thought coming in here being intimidated. They knew what kind of team Boise had. We also knew, though, that what kind of football team we had to give ourselves a chance to be good, and we did what we needed to do. They got a great offense and defense. You know, we just got real lucky.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Congratulations.
Coach Anthony, thank you very much. Once again, the final is 36-35. Remember, Mountain West football continues. Next Saturday is TCU hosts Colorado State at 3:30 Eastern. Unbelievable game we saw. It was billed as the game of the year in the Mountain West Conference, and that's exactly what it was to this point. 71 points later, down to the final seconds, TCU wins at Boise 36-35. For Sean King, Anthony Herron, and the rest of our crew, I'm Paul Burmeister. Stay tuned for Liam McHugh in our New York studio after these messages. TCU wins by 1.